fifth speaker will now help us understand what it means to be an ASEAN architect. She is the former Dean of the University of Santo Tomas College of Architecture and Fine Arts, a past president of the UAP in the years 2002 to 2003. She is past chairman of the Architects Regional Council Asia and a 2014 UAP Likha awardee. Also, she is chairman of the Technical Panel for Architecture, Interior Design, Landscape, Fine Arts, and Environmental Planning Education of the Commission on Higher Education, and of course, a former member of the PRC Board of Architecture. Everyone, please welcome the Honorable Architect Yolanda David Reyes, FUAP ASEAN Architect.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here. I would like to thank UAP for this very big concern of ours, for really pushing it to the architects, that we become ASEAN architects. There are many introductions that have been made, so I will go directly to my speech. But before that, I would like to correct, because Doc Cueto, you know, I also read a newspaper. I read a newspaper of national circulation. All right. It is not actually the architects who put Napoles to jail. It is the Board of Medicine in PRC who actually saw the violation of illegal practice. Why? Because Napoles doctored all the all the figures and where this will go. So she was doctoring that. So hindi arkitekto ang nagpakulong sa kanya, sayang. All right. These are just backgrounders, but I would not dwell very much on this. But as we know that migration is the stepchild of globalization. Globalization is very much in our midst. 2015 for the ASEAN, 2020 for the world. And we have to be very ready. And if you say that this is not for you because you're very young, you're wrong. You have to prepare for it. We still have a lot of time. We still have a window on how we can prepare ourselves to be very competitive. You know, I would like to thank our colleagues in the architecture profession who have gone before us to other countries. So many of our architects are in Singapore, and many are in Hong Kong and Middle East. We have the Middle East architects here. They would come here every convention period. Pwede ba kayong tumayo para naman palakpakan namin kayo? Palakpakan natin ang ating mga Middle East architects. You know, if it is not for these people who made it big for architects, their practice in other countries, then it would be difficult for us who are here to make an image of ourselves. So sila po yung magandang image. They work very hard. As we all know, when we are outside the Philippines, we work better, di ba? We exert all the efforts to be able to be a better professional in another country. So I would like to thank you, because even us here, when they say Filipino architect, it is already something that it's a given. Merong maganda, creative, magaling. Di ba? Palakpakan natin ang Filipino architect. So, let me see. How do you become a ASEAN architect? will go directly to, all right, so the ASEAN framework, we simply put it the ASEAN Framework Agreement on Services, or the AFAS, will create, no, which was signed in December 15, will push for this will now the ASEAN Economic Community, and it has its objectives to liberalize trade in services, to eliminate restrictions in trade in services, and to enhance cooperation amongst member nations. The overall objective is to transform the ASEAN into a highly competitive region. Kasi kung meron silang EU, meron tayo dapat din ASEAN. So, simply put it, free flow of professional services. This will lead to recognition of professional qualifications. Ito po yung sinabi ni Doc Cueto kanina. And this will lead to a freer movement of professional around the ASEAN nations. Closer? Okay. I thought I'm very loud already, so I still have to move forward. All right, so how can you be competitive? How will you start thinking on how you can be competitive? There are so many ways to be competitive. First is the academic track. Second is professional practice track. The third is the non-formal, informal, and continuing professional development track. And of course, you have to participate and be active in both local and international associations. And being part of international and global arrangements or agreements such as the ASEAN, the APEC, and whatever would come in. So you can see, you saw this slide earlier, but I would like to show you that we are all level 6. We are now, ang base natin ay level 6 because we are all graduates of BS Architecture. And in level 7, in the ASEAN framework, level 7 is masteral degree. That's very easy to measure. But basta masteral degree holder ka, level 7 agad. If you are a doctoral or postdoctoral degree holder, then you will be in level 8. So very clear. How about in the professional track? In the professional track, you can be measured by your work experience or specialization. So the CPD Council is working on how, the descriptors that Doc Cueto was telling us about. Yung descriptors nito ang importante. And we are now in that process of coming up with descriptors. Ano ang work experience mo, the degree or the vastness of your work experience, that will qualify you to level 7. And what would be the degree of your specialization in order to make you comply to the specialization. Thank you. Thank you. Ganyan kami yung nagmamahalan. Thank you, Pitch. And this one you saw earlier, our reference is the ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework, which was also discussed earlier. Kaya nakikita ninyo kung paano tayo gagalaw. Alright. Then, to be competitive, sabi ko, you have to join, international, national organizations of architects or groups. In UAP, you are already members. And this is a platform where you can interact, where you can network. And in UAP, it will also pave the way for you to be able to go to international organization like the ArcAsia. ArcAsia is the regional council of architects throughout Asia. There are now 18 members, and we are very close-knit. This ArcAsia organization is very close-knit. As you can see, whenever we have When we have conventions, they would be here if we invite them, and they would also invite us to their conventions. So we would know each other very well, and this would also give us the opportunity to network with them in the future. Kasi nga, ang labanan ngayon, kailangan mabigat yung credentials. So one of the things that you can do is for the small practitioners, yung mga 15 or less na mga tao, you can actually collaborate into one big firm. So you put together your, say, 3 firms, you put them together, combine your track record, and then you will end up to be a big firm, which will make that firm competitive with our ASEAN neighbors. And that firm could also be qualified for international competitions. Alam nyo, isa pang kulang natin, we rarely join international competitions. Talagang dapat dito rin natin sadyain na the Filipino image will be put forward. So now, and then you also join the UIA. UIA is the World Organization of International Architects. Now, the president of the UIA is from Asia, from Malaysia, to be exact. And yours truly as the first vice president. And you also joined the ERUF. This ERUF is East Asia Regional Organization for Planning and Housing. We have the president of that for the Philippines is Dinky Florentino. Dinky Florentino is also making waves in the international scene. He was the Zone B Deputy Chairman last year. So, kailangan meron din tayong presence sa mga international associations. And there are also specific groups such as the high-rise building architects, mall architects, meron pa ngang supermarket architects. They would meet. May mga hospital planning architects or groups. So, you join where you are, what you think is most interesting to you. Then you begin to build up your qualification. Then you begin to build up your networking. Okay? Because if there are projects here where a foreign consultant would be invited, therefore, if you have a network with them, they would locate you. In the same way that if you have a project in a certain country and you know an architect there, then you know who to talk to immediately. It would be a very easy win-win situation. All right, so this is the ASEAN, and then lastly is join the ASEAN Mutual Recognition arrangements or agreements, and one of which is the ASEAN. So in Article 5 of the ASEAN Framework Agreement on Services, it simply says mutual recognition. ASEAN member state may recognize the education or experience obtained, requirements met, licenses or certifications granted in another ASEAN member state for the purpose of licensing and certification of service suppliers. So, as mentioned by Commissioner Gigi earlier, we have 8 already which have ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement. And you can see it's engineering, nursing, surveying, architecture, dentistry, medicine, accountancy, and tourism. 7 out of the 8 are from the PRC. So the objectives of the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement on Architectural Services is to facilitate the mobility of architects, adoption of best practices on standards and architectural education, professional practice and qualification, fair distribution of resources and benefits through collaborative researches, and encourage and facilitate establish mutual recognition of architects among member countries. So, in the Philippines, we have a memorandum of agreement with two agencies and one professional organization, and these are the Professional Regulation Commission, we have the Commission for Higher Education, and we have the United Architects of the Philippines as members. So the composition, PRC is the permanent chair for this AMCAS. We call this group the Asean Monitoring Committee on Architectural Services of the Philippines, or what we call AMCAS. So the chairman is always the chairman of the PRC. And she or he will give a representative who is an architect. So in this case, I am representing the chairperson of PRC. And the members would be 2 members from the Professional Regulatory Board of Architecture, namely the chairman of the BOA, Board of Architecture, Roy Cordero. Roy, can you stand up para alam nila kung Chairman Roy, that's Chairman Roy Cordero. And we have Fidel Shapno as the other member. Where is Fidel? Okay. And then we have also CHED representative or his or her authorized representative. You see, this usually comes from the technical committee of CHED. So, yung representative nila, kasi puro arkitekto. Then you have the UAP president or his or her authorized representative. So what are the responsibilities of this AMCAS? Develops, process, and maintains an ASEAN architect registry in the country. Responsible for the registration and licensing of professional architects in the country concerned, and certifies the qualification and experience of individual professional architects. So the qualification, recognition of qualification to become an ASEAN architect. So an architect who has, number 1, completed an accredited architectural degree, a current and valid professional registration and licensing certificate to practice architecture, acquired practical, diversified experience of not less than 10 years of continuous practice of architecture after graduation, and at least 5 years shall be after licensure registration, and at least 2 years of which shall be in responsible charge of significant architectural work. Actually, before you apply, you can already assess yourself if you can qualify for the ASEAN registry. Ang tinitingnang mabigat dito is number 3, the acquired practical and diversified experience. Because we are also thinking that if you qualify for an ASEAN architect, we are going to propose that you are automatically put to level 7. And then you must have complied with the continuing professional development policy, obtained a certification of no record of serious violation on technical, professional, or ethical standards, both local and international, for the practice of architecture. And you must have complied with any other requirements agreed upon by the ASEAN Architects Council. So these are the forms which I will just flash very quickly. So you have a letter of intent, it's already there. Just fill out the forms. This is the actual, we call it Form 1, the application form. And this is for the specialized training on relevant to the field of specialized form. And this is the professional practice form, the continuing professional development form, the research and development form, authorship form. If you don't have researches but you have a lot of professional practice as architects, doing structures, that's fine. Just submit and not applicable. And you must have a statement of compliance with Code of Ethics. I understand this will come from the PRC, where we will certify that there are no cases filed against you. And this is the process on how to do it. Upon payment of the processing fee, the application will be endorsed to BOA. So you submit first, you submit your application, and then our consultant, Architect Pitch Buen Camino, will check the requirements, the technical requirements, and will have some looks on the professional practice as well. And then it will be given to the PR BOA to determine again the eligibility of the application. And after that, the AMCAST already will convene. The 5 members, as I mentioned earlier, will convene and deliberate and come up with an initial list of candidates. And then eventually, those who were approved by AMCAST will be submitted to the PRC chairman for final approval. And when we have a list, we will bring this to the AAC. AAC is the Asean Architects Council. And we meet like twice or thrice a year. And whenever we meet, if we have new ASEAN architects, then we put them forward. In engineering, there are cases where they have submitted some names and qualifications, but sometimes nadidefer pa. Kaya kami, we are very careful in submitting or in qualifying the architects to become ASEAN architects, because we want to be sure that we will have a go signal immediately when we submit to the AAC. So we have now 40, then we will be having additionals. We just interviewed some 9, according to Chairman Roy. We have 9 applicants who we just interviewed. And if you want to know the fees, di naman po siya mahal. It's upon filing, it's 2,000 pesos. And upon approval of the application, a registration fee of 5,000 pesos shall be paid. And the renewal is every 3 years. If you become an AA, then you will have to be registered and you will have to renew that every 3 years, and you will pay 5,000 pesos. Now, what are the benefits of ASEAN Architect? Registration with ASEAN Architect ensures that professional architects gain the opportunity to have their professional standing recognized. So recognition. And it also adds value to the professional practice of architects. And we have a definite advantage of opportunity that is offered to enhance competitiveness and employment opportunities. These are some of the things that are being discussed now in the AAC, some of which we will also put forward in the next meeting in May. Actually, in May 4 to 10, all of us will, not all us, the PRC will be going to Malaysia for another roundtable discussion on the AAC. And our head of delegation is no less than ComGG. So the way forward is that we are thinking for big projects, if the companies are getting foreign consultants, it is required that they get ASEAN architects from foreign countries. And the counterpart here in the Philippines should also be an ASEAN architect. And also, we will propose that major government projects, for if there is no foreign consultant, also an ASEAN architect should be employed or should be commissioned. There are other benefits such as, yun nga, magiging level 7 ka na, but these are all under negotiation. And another thing that is also under negotiation is the ASEAN business travel card, the card that is similar to the APEC card. It's like a diplomatic ID, which you can use in the airports, and it's something that will really add value to your professional practice. So to date, there are 220 ASEAN architects, and if we are like a little bit over or behind 50, then we would be like 20%, no, 20% of all the ASEAN architects. So where do you apply? You apply at the PRC, International Affairs Division of the PRC. It's at the 2nd floor. And you can also download the application form and other documents. So you do that on www.prc.gov.ph. When you get those applications, try to assess yourself already, okay? And do not be afraid, because if it will not be approved, then you know what you lack. Actually, there is nothing wrong if you are deferred, because we will simply just tell you you lack some requirements. All right? But you always aim for that. Kasi po, ang labanan nga ngayon, hindi lang po sa galing, hindi lang sa academic qualifications, kailangan porsigido ka rin, the perseverance, and the trust in yourself, the confidence in yourself. You know, it is very important na ito nga ay nakikwento sa inyo so that you know where to go. Otherwise, maybe 5 years from now, you will say, ba't ba hindi ako nakinig? Ba't ba hindi ako sumali doon sa CPD programs? Or yung mga other qualifications, especially the academe naman, yung mag-masters and mag-PhD programs na kayo. So we have more PhD holders here in the Philippines kasi wala pa tayong PhD program or school that offers PhD degrees here in the Philippines. Wala pa. So you can see here the conferment of the ASEAN architects last July. Ito yung, maybe you know some people here. So in closing, UAP is living up to its role as a provider of CPD activities and enhance the qualifications of our Filipino architects in the ASEAN region. In continuously upholding and pursuing excellence in architecture, you are not only advancing your careers, you are lending prestige to the Philippines like our countrymen who are abroad. As home of qualified, globally competitive professionals, ASEAN architects. Once more, I would like to let me express my appreciation to the United Architects of the Philippines for the opportunity to speak and explain to you how easy it is to become an ASEAN architect. Just comply with the qualifications. And I wish UAP for continued success. Mabuhay po tayong lahat at magandang umaga.